Hello viewers, in the last video we studied the self-sufficiency in growth signals, the role of oncogenes, in which we studied the oncogenes that encode the growth factors and the growth factor receptors, of which the receptor tyrosine kinase is most important in cancer. In today's video we will study the oncogenes that encode the signal transduction proteins and the transcription factors. So we will be studying the downstream components of the receptor tyrosine kinase signaling pathway. So when the receptor tyrosine kinase is activated, it leads to activation of RAS, and this activates the two arms of the downstream signaling pathway, the MAP kinase and the PI3K AKT pathway. Now the activated RAS, it can substitute the tyrosine kinase activity. Now in tumors that have the RAS mutations, they do not have the receptor tyrosine kinase mutation. It is mutually exclusive. For example, in lung adenocarcinomas, there are two mutually exclusive molecular subtypes, one that has RAS mutations and the other that has receptor tyrosine kinase mutations. Now it has implications in therapy. So the therapy changes. So the targeted therapy in these molecular subtypes is different. Now the point mutations in RAS family genes are the most common abnormality involving proto-oncogenes in human tumors, and the RAS mutations are seen in 15 to 20% of human tumors. And in some tumors the frequency of RAS mutations is more. As in pancreatic adenocarcinoma, in 90% of pancreatic adenocarcinomas there are RAS mutations. In 50% of thyroid carcinomas, colon carcinomas, endometrial carcinomas, there are RAS mutations. In 30% of lung adenocarcinomas and myeloid leukemias, there are RAS mutations. So these are the three RAS genes: KRAS, HRAS, NRAS. So KRAS is associated with colon, lung, pancreatic tumors, HRAS with bladder and kidney tumors, and NRAS with melanomas and hematologic malignancies. Now the RAS belong to a family of membrane associated G proteins that are bound to GTP and GTP, and in the active state the RAS is bound to GTP, and in the inactive or the quiescent state it is bound to GTP, and the RAS flips back and forth between the activated and the quiescent state when the growth factor binds to the growth factor receptor, or when the receptor tyrosine kinase is activated, then the GDP is replaced by GTP, or the RAS becomes activated. But the activation of RAS is transient, as it has intrinsic GTPase activity. So RAS has intrinsic GTPase activity, and it is accelerated by GAPs. GAPs are GTPase activating proteins, and they enhance or accelerate the GTPase activity of RAS by up to 1,000 folds. So they increase the GTPase activity of RAS, and in this way they restrict the RAS activity, or the gaps they terminate signal transduction. They terminate signal transduction. Now the activating mutations in RAS and the loss of function mutation in GAPs, they have the same consequence. So the gain of function mutation in RAS mimics the loss of function mutation in GAPs. The neurofibromin, it is a gap which is encoded by NF1 gene, and if there is loss of function mutation in this gene, then it is associated with familial neurofibromatosis type 1. Now what is this NF1 gene? It is a tumor suppressor gene. It is tumor suppressor gene. Now what happens when there are point mutation in the RAS genes? So several distinct point mutations have been identified in the RAS gene in cancer cells. So these lead to decreased GTPase activity of the RAS protein and the result is that the mutant RAS, it is trapped in excited signal transmitting state. So it is continuously sending the pro-growth signals to the cell. Now let us see the other components of these two downstream cascades. The MAP kinase PI3K AKT cascade, they lie downstream of RAS, and these consist of a series of protein kinases that are mutated in various cancers. And the components that are present at the top of the cascade, they are frequently involved by mutations, and these factors, they are more effective at producing pro-growth signals. The mutation in these factors are more effective at producing pro-growth signals. Now mutations in BRAF. So BRAF is a member of family of RAF serine threonine kinase, protein kinases, and the BRAF mutations are seen in 100% of hairy cell leukemias, in 60% of melanomas. So the melanomas that have BRAF mutations, they respond very well to BRAF inhibitors as compared to melanomas that have wild type BRAF. So this is an example of oncogene addiction. So in oncogene addiction, the tumor cells, they are highly dependent on the activity of one oncoprotein. So in this case, the melanomas that have BRAF mutation, these cells are highly dependent on BRAF signaling. So the activating mutation in BRAF stimulate the downstream kinases and ultimately activate transcription factors. Now mutations in the kinases of PI3K family, these are also very common. So PI3K gain of function mutation are seen in 30% of breast cancers, and loss of function mutations in PTEN, these are commonly seen in endometrial carcinoma. So what is PTEN? PTEN is a negative regulator of PI3K. So it is a negative regulator of PI3K. So when there is loss of function mutation in PTEN, so it releases PI3K from its negative control, and PI3K then activates AKT, which is a major signaling node, and it phosphorylates more than 150 proteins including mTOR, which is a key regulator of protein synthesis. Now let's study the non-receptor tyrosine kinases. Non-receptor tyrosine kinases. So oncogenic mutations can occur in non-receptor tyrosine kinases. The mutations can occur in the form of chromosomal translocation or rearrangements, which create fusion genes which encode proteins that have constitutively active tyrosine kinase activity. CML and a subset of ALL, they have translocation 922. So the ABL oncogene, which is normally present on chromosome 9, it gets translocated to chromosome 22, and here it forms, it associates with BCR. So BCR moiety, it doesn't have tyrosine kinase activity. ABL has tyrosine kinase activity, but BCR helps in self-association of BCR and ABL. So this creates a hybrid gene. So this encodes a chimeric BCR-ABL protein that has constitutive tyrosine kinase activity, and this leads to activation of growth factor signaling pathway. Now tyrosine kinase inhibitors have been developed which suppress the proliferating component of tumor. Now this proliferating component of tumor, this is dependent on the BCR-ABL activity, or this is an example of oncogene addiction. So this tyrosine kinase inhibitor, it suppresses the proliferating component. It treats the leukemia, but it doesn't lead to cure, because the CML stem cells that have BCR-ABL fusion gene, they persist as they do not require the BCR-ABL signaling for their survival. So the tyrosine kinase inhibitors have to be continued indefinitely, otherwise leukemia tends to reappear. So these stem cells, they are resistant to this therapeutic targeting. Now non-receptor tyrosine kinase in which point mutations are seen. They can be activated by point mutations. For example, the non-receptor tyrosine kinase JAK2. So this participates in the JAK-STAT signaling pathway, and this can be activated by point mutation, and this is seen in several myeloid neoplasms. So these are associated with activating point mutations in JAK2, and this relieves the tumor cells from their normal dependence on the hematopoietic growth factors, for example erythropoietin. And the identification of this molecular lesion has led to development of JAK2 inhibitors. JAK2 inhibitors. Next is the transcription factors. Transcription factors. So all signal transduction pathways, they converge on the nucleus, and the consequence of deregulated mitogenic signaling pathways is the continuous and inappropriate stimulation of the transcription factors that drive the growth promoting genes. Also, the autonomous growth can be achieved by mutations affecting transcription factors that regulate the expression of pro-growth genes and cyclins. The transcription factors include the products of MYC, MYB, JUN, FOS, REL proto-oncogenes. And in these, the MYC gene is very important. It is affected in various cancers. It is expressed in all eukaryotic cells. It is immediate early response gene. It is rapidly and transiently induced by RAS-MAP kinase signaling. And normally the MYC protein concentration is tightly regulated in the cells. And MYC performs a variety of activities in normal growth as well as in neoplastic growth. So MYC contributes to deregulated cell growth, which is an important cancer hallmark, and it also contributes to acquisition of other hallmarks of cancer, like the Warburg effect, the immortalization. Now, what are the various activities? MYC activates the expression of genes involved in cell growth. MYC target genes including D cyclins. So it is involved in cell cycle progression. MYC upregulates the expression of ribosomal RNA genes and ribosomal RNA processing, which are needed in protein synthesis. MYC contributes to Warburg effect, which is needed for the synthesis of macromolecules like DNA, protein, and lipids for the tumor growth. MYC is master transcriptional regulator. So the fastest growing human tumor, Burkitt lymphoma, it always bears the chromosomal translocation involving the MYC gene. MYC upregulates telomerase expression, which leads to immortalization of the cancer cells. It contributes to the limitless replicative potential. MYC can help reprogram somatic cells into pluripotent stem cells, which is another aspect of immortality. Now, what are the various mechanisms by which MYC is deranged? There are various mechanisms of deregulation of the MYC gene. In Burkitt lymphoma, there is translocation 814. The MYC gene, which is present on chromosome 8, it gets translocated to chromosome 14, and it is repositioned near to IgG gene. So the MYC coding sequence is repositioned adjacent to strong Ig enhancer elements, which drive increased MYC expression, and this leads to increased expression of pro-growth genes. Now, another mechanism is MYC gene amplification, which leads to its overexpression. It is seen in carcinoma, breast, colon, and lung. N-MYC amplification is seen in neuroblastoma. L-MYC amplification is seen in small cell carcinoma of lung. Now, the mutations involving the upstream signaling pathways, they also increase the MYC protein. The constitutive RAS, MAP kinase signaling, WNT signaling, Notch signaling, Hedgehog signaling, they all transform cell by upregulating the expression of MYC gene. Now, another mechanism is single nucleotide polymorphism. They lie within enhancer elements that flank the MYC gene. and this leads to higher levels of MYC RNA expression. So in this video we studied the self-sufficiency in growth signals, the role of oncogenes, we studied the transcription factors, we studied the signal transduction molecules, the non-receptor tyrosine kinases, and in the next video we will study the cell cycle components. I hope this was useful. For more such videos, please subscribe my channel and do not forget to like and share my videos. Thanks for watching.